purpose of this documentary is to inform the public of the need for marine reserves and an increased marine reserve system in Australia. Australian culture is heavily set around the coast, beaches and water. The changing environmental conditions could devastate this way of life if nothing is done to protect it. The information in the documentary will explain to you what marine reserves are, why does Australia need more marine reserves, the differing opinions about the marine reserves, what my personal opinion is, and whether all the information is opinion or fact. The information provided will allow you to critically analyse. No-take zones, or marine reserves, are now nationally and internationally considered as a leading method for maintaining the long-term health and productivity of our oceans. These reserves have shown a slow at first but large increase in biodiversity after the creation of the reserve. These positive results have led to an increase in the use of marine reserve not only in Australia but around the world. Australia is internationally renowned for its great beaches, reefs, as well as our red sandy deserts and vast range of biodiversity. 99% of all people in Australia are located within 50 kilometres of the coast, meaning that most of the major tourist sites have some tie to the oceans and beaches. Marine reserves not only allow for these tourist hotspots to thrive, but also increase in biodiversity. This in turn creates more jobs, tourism sites, and also increases Australia's total income from tourism, which is currently 8%. This increased income could then be used for maintenance of already settled marine reserves or allow. Marine reserves, or no-take zones, are large spaces of ocean or reef in which marine life is protected by law from fishing and the other devastating effects humans have had on the world's oceans. These reserves allow for marine biodiversity to thrive in a way that not only affects the reserves itself, but the surrounding ecosystems. The two reasons for the implementation of marine reserves are the preservation of natural ecosystems. These reserves are implemented to preserve areas with natural functioning ecosystems. The second is fishery management. These fishery management parks seek to increase the yield to fisheries. From reef to deep marine reserves, the positive effects spread and impact not only the immediate surroundings, but a much larger area. Almost all cases in which a marine reserve has been implemented has biodiversity increased and the health of the ecosystem in turn improved in quality. The article that led me to make the decision to pick the resource sustainability topic, marine reserves, was Marine Reserves Are a Solid Anchor for All Marine Life. The article from the Daily Telegraph spoke of Australians' love for water and how changing environmental conditions will affect this way of life. The Australian government first made a commitment to the protection of its marine environment under the Howard government. This process would see 40% of Australian waters protected by marine reserves. It also spoke of minimal impact on fishers, but compensated for the resulting inconvenience by funding $100 million into the program to help the transition. The article also discusses the need for an improved marine reserve system for tourism operators and the tourism industry and how it will bring over $5 billion into Australia. Under the Howard government, in 1998, Commonwealth and state governments made a commitment to forge a national representative system of marine protected areas by 2012. The Australian government has recently initiated one of the largest networks of marine parks in the world. This is ever-changing, as the leader of the Australian government has recently declared that the coalition will suspend and review the new marine parks despite the scientific evidence and over a decade of community support. After critical analysis, it is clear that despite years of positive data and scientific evidence, that the new government is basing their views of marine reserves on opinion rather than fact. In comparison to other countries, Australia has an extremely large percent of our territorial seas covered in marine reserves. Australia, 27.9%, is second only to the United States of America, 29.39%. This goes to show that Australia does indeed have a quality network of marine parks currently. The United States and Australia both have similar policies in regards to placement, size and regulations set. Many other countries, such as South Africa, are still yet to develop an ecologically sustainable system of marine parks. The table shows the global average for percent change in biological measures. The different columns represent biomass, density, size and diversity. The black dots represent global reserves. The y-axis The red dots show the reserve for prevention of natural ecosystems. The green dots represent the fishery reserves. You can clearly be seen that Europe's marine reserve priorities are with sustainable fish stocks rather than the conservation of biodiversity and marine ecosystems. After the study and critical analysis of marine reserve systems around the globe, it is clear that Australia currently has one of the highest quality networks in the world. To continue the improvement of these important marine sanctuaries, further funding and research must be implemented. The data has clearly shown that there is an increase in biomass, density, size, and diversity of marine organisms as a direct result of the protection that marine reserves supply.